Welcome back to the AI Breakdown Brief, all the AI headline news you need in around 5 minutes. We begin today, which you can tell if you're looking at the video and this excellent image behind me, with the story that OpenAI has hit a milestone billion-dollar run rate. Now, to really understand why this is significant, other than just being a big number, I think it's important to go back a couple weeks to a story that even at the time I said was stupid, but still got a lot of traction. The trade publication Payments wrote on August 16th, is going for broke with ChatGPT bankrupting Sam Altman's OpenAI. And basically what generated this and other articles like it was a report that OpenAI was spending $700,000 a day maintaining their underlying infrastructure. Now that number wasn't confirmed, but we did know for a fact that the company had lost $540 million in 2022. Combine that with what many were reporting as the drop in ChatGPT's usage in June, and you have this potent little narrative concoction where costs kept rising, usage seemed to be going down, and maybe this whole AI thing wasn't as big and disruptive as it seemed. That's a much better media story than it is reflective of reality. And two, in addition to not taking into account whatever money they were making, it also didn't take into account A, the $10 billion they had in the bank from Microsoft, which could sustain that burn rate for a very long time, and B, the fact that it was highly likely that if OpenAI was ever in trouble from a capital perspective, there would be a nearly unlimited spigot of investors who would like to get in. Ahmad Mustaq from Stability AI said as much as well, quote tweeting something that was eventually deleted about the $700,000 a day story and saying, "What is this rubbish? OpenAI lost twice that a day last year and this year raised $10 billion from Microsoft, enough to maintain that burn for 37 years. This is cheap R&D relative to impact, way more bang for the buck than Web3, Metaverse, or whatever." One of the commenters on the post, Steve Stojic, wrote, "The AI thread boys are desperate for something to talk about, and candidly, I don't think he was all that wrong." Still, that is the context in which yesterday's report from The Information came in. On August 29th, The Information writes, OpenAI passes $1 billion revenue pace as big companies boost AI spending. Now, a couple important things about this reporting. First, according to The Information sources, this is, quote, far ahead of revenue projections the company previously shared with its shareholders. Second, it shows significant growth from $28 million in revenue for the entirety of last year to more than $80 million in revenue per month right now. But third, there wasn't necessarily as much information as we might like about where that revenue was coming from. As The Information writes, the percentage of revenue OpenAI generates from ChatGPT subscriptions versus selling access to GPT-4 through an API also couldn't be learned. But in March of this year, OpenAI had between 1 million and 2 million ChatGPT subscribers paying $20 per month, said a person with knowledge of the figure. One other interesting aspect of the story is that they talk about how big Wall Street trading firms such as Jane Street have become some of the biggest customers for OpenAI and Microsoft. Again, from The Information, for traders at top trading firms such as Jane Street who are aiming to make profitable bets in markets, AI language models can help by quickly parsing large amounts of data or paraphrasing lengthy memos, giving traders answers that can inform their rapid-fire decisions. Another high-frequency trading firm, Citadel, has gotten close with OpenAI and other language model developers as it looks to incorporate the technology. Another financial use case comes from Morgan Stanley, who apparently commissioned OpenAI to build a bespoke, customized model trained on over 100,000 documents that come from Morgan Stanley itself. Jeff McMillan, who runs data analytics and innovation for the wealth management division at Morgan Stanley, said in an interview earlier this year that the tool was making it about 8 times faster for wealth managers to compare a bull and bear case for a specific investment, from 40 minutes down to 5 minutes. Now, I think the most interesting thing about these numbers, big as they are, is that this isn't even counting ChatGPT Enterprise, which just launched yesterday, as we know, and which feels very likely to me to be a much more significant driver of revenue than even these retail subscribers. Ahmad, again from Stability AI, shared an image of the Information article and writes, before enterprise adoption even kicks in properly, folks don't understand how stupidly large this market is going to be. 1,000 companies will spend 10 million, 100 will spend 100 million, 10 will spend $1 billion. In the next year or so as it becomes enterprise ready. 30 billion plus, cheap given the impact it will have refined. So when all is said and done, I don't think we currently have to worry about Sam Altman and OpenAI going out of business anytime soon. Next, a little bit of a follow-up from something that we had heard last week. A mobile leak suggested that Snapchat was working on a new AI feature that they were calling Dreams. It was a feature that would allow the user to put their selfie in any environment that they could imagine. And that feature is now not only confirmed, but has been released in Australia and New Zealand. According to The Verge, the plan is to roll that feature out globally in the coming few weeks. Interestingly, in addition to just staying up on the generative AI craze, it sounds like Snapchat is also attempting to make this a moneymaker. The Verge writes that the first pack of dreams will be free, but that each additional dream will cost $1 as an in-app purchase. The Verge author, for his part, didn't give the feature super high marks. The company apparently shared an early version with him, and he said, "Several of the dreams I received didn't really look like me, although there were a couple funny ones I would consider sharing as a joke. Most of the images didn't seem to capture my likeness relative to the selfies I've made in Lensa and other AI apps." Will the feature catch on? Only time will tell, but it's another indication of just how much social companies are looking to new generative AI experiences as the next frontier for their apps. Speaking of apps and generative AI, one new app that has quite a bit of buzz is Ideogram. Yesterday, the company tweeted, "Today we're opening Ideogram to everyone on the planet. Sign up at ideogram.ai and have fun. Ideogram enables you to turn your creative ideas into delightful images in a matter of seconds. It's free and has no limits, and it can render text." Now, basically, this is just like if Midjourney had its own social network. Instead of sharing photos that you've taken on your phone, you instead share images that you've generated through a prompt. It creates a feed like any other social app, and you can see images from people that you're following, recent images from across the community, images that are trending, etc. I did a little experiment yesterday after securing the NLW handle, as I always do, trying to create a nostalgia-filled image of a neighborhood at Halloween in the 1990s. It did okay, except for some of the scariest wonky faces that I've ever seen from an image creation app, suggesting that from a technology standpoint, this may be still a little bit behind some of the other solutions out there. Still, people are excited about it. Swix, who you've heard on the show as a guest, says the generative Instagram killer is here. Imogen team actually shipping. I bet it is killing both Google and Facebook that the next Instagram/TikTok will probably not be created by them. Lastly today, one from a very different area. One of the things that I think is interesting right now, watching AI as closely as I do, is the contrast on the one hand between the discussions of AI safety and AI policy and AI ethics that happen on Twitter and in the halls of Washington, and the speed with which the Defense Department and other military institutions are just rapidly adopting AI. The Department of Defense announced this week that they will deploy an AI-enabled detection system over DC as a way to improve its efforts to protect the DC airspace. It's notable to me not only that they are doing this, but that they think it's worth announcing in a press release. Make of that what you will. For now, that is going to do it for today's AI Breakdown Brief. I'll be back soon with the main AI Breakdown.